Alright, we are here for game 1 on Lightshade LE. Here in the top left corner of the map, our first player, he is the red Zerg from the team of KaiZ Gaming. It is Solar.
And spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map as the blue Protoss, currently teamless, it is Parting.
Alright, so if the title didn't give it away, this is from the ESL Open Cup number 76, Korea. Going to be a best of 3, and it's going to be a PVZ here.
Alright, so we do see that hatch block from Parting. Looks like Solar is just going to go ahead and take the cross third. Obviously, a little bit inconvenient for the Zerg, but nothing too out of the ordinary.
And you know what? This is a closer, I guess, third base to the natural of Parting. So if Solar does want to put on some aggression, he can very well. I mean, we have seen Protoss go for, you know, those mass Void Ray builds, and one of the counters, or the most frequent counter that I've seen that worked really well, is that Queen Roach Ravager push, and that, you know, the third, or I guess the second base positioning can help with that because of the closeness of it.
Yeah, it definitely could go either way, especially considering this is Solar, and of course, this is Parting that we are discussing here. Both, obviously, top-tier players from Korea.
And speaking of Parting, I mean, one of his playstyle is, you know, being, I guess he's more the more aggressive Protosses out there. So I'm not sure, but I think Parting can actually go for like a old school, like mass Sentry. Maybe with some Immortal and a lot of gateway push. I mean, if the Zerg doesn't kill off that rock down below there, it can work out with some nice force fields.
Yeah, that is a good point that you bring up. Obviously, Parting well known for the Soul Train. Always a big fan of that. However, I'm thinking, you know, Mass Adept is not a bad idea either. We do see that Twilight going down, so definitely looking to get a little bit aggressive here. Game number 1.
Now we do see Solar has pulled off all his drones off of gas, which means that he is going to be heavily relying on speedlings for the time being. There's not going to be a lot of gas to bank up for those Roach and Ravagers, or even a lair. So Solar, I think he's probably gonna be relying on mass queens and lings, and just hope that Parting doesn't go for anything too punishing. But unfortunately for him, he is, because there is a bunch of gateways being thrown down, as well as did he research? Okay, there we go. The Adept Glaive upgrade there. So yeah, we, like you said, we're gonna see some Glaive Adept, and this is gonna be more menacing because this is not just a 4-gate, but a 5-gate.
Yeah, Parting looking to get really aggressive here with Glaive Adepts. I do like this move a lot. Now, like you said, because Solar did take off all 3 drones off of gas earlier, he doesn't have a lot of gas banked up, so he's not going to have roaches. He's not going to have layer tech out in time to really deal with these Adepts, and so obviously Speedlings, not the best thing against Adepts, so looks like he will sort of hook in here with some Lings. Not going to, you know, get a good scout off, but that War Prism is about to come out. Now, are these Lings going to spot that War Prism? Oh, it looks like that War Prism just barely is not going to be spotted.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for Solar. And now he does get sight of the Adept move out, so at least he has some indication, but the War Prism is already in the middle of the map here, and these Adepts are at the center, about to pounce onto this base of Solar.
That's right. Now, the creep spread is pretty decent, so Solar is going to have advance warning, of course, with that earlier scout with the Lings. Now, he does have 5 queens at the front here to tank 6 queens at the front. Roach Warren is done, so he will be producing Lings, more Lings and Roaches behind this, but okay, he stops the Shade in. Now, the Adepts are going to move forward and pounce on this third base. Oh, are they going to get that damage in? Now, it looks like the Lings are doing a pretty good job for the time being. Drones are evac'd out of there, but the Adepts are shading into the natural now. Can they survive? Now, they finish the shade. They're going to get a few drone kills at the natural, but roaches are out, and so far, Solar has handled this pretty decently, I would say. Still kind of hard to say. Oh.
Yeah, so far, I would say Solar, considering, the situation he was in, not too bad of a defense thus far. I mean, it's not over yet, but it seems like he is starting to stabilize. And with very minimal, I guess, drone losses, I would say that actually was pretty decent of a hold here for Solar. But of course, he did sacrifice a lot of these larvas into making units instead of drones. So Solar's gonna have to drone up. In the meantime, Parting not letting up on the aggression here. Gonna go ahead and dive in with 2 more Adepts, getting 5 additional drone kills there. So for a total of 8 drone kills, 46 Lings, and 2 Queens going down for 20 Adepts. I'm not sure. What do you think? Was that worth it?
Well, if we look at the worker counts right now, I mean, Parting is getting his 3rd base up and running, and he is actually ahead on workers. Now, these 2 Adepts might be able to get some additional value just like this. Nope. Solar is going to see it in time and just sort of move those drones out of there. But I don't know, like you said, that was a lot of larva dedicated to units, of course, not just the roaches, but of course those pesky little Lings as well. And considering all of that, I feel like Parting does have a chance to make something happen out of it. He does have the 3rd Nexus up and running. And of course, a Protoss with 3 Nexuses with Chrono can boost out those probes pretty quick. Now, these Lings are going to go for a counterattack, and I do like this move a lot. Are they going to be able to get some damage done? It doesn't look like that's the case. And actually, Parting coming back in here, getting 2 more drone kills with these 2 Adepts. Now, that is not a trade that I would personally approve of, right? You've got 2 Adepts getting 1 drone kill each. I'm not sure if that is a good trade. Now, huge Zerg counterattack. We're going to see the Roaches, Ravagers, and Lings move forward on top of these shield batteries. First 2 shield batteries do go down. We see that Immortal Micro, wow, keeping those Immortals alive with the Warp Prism. But can this shield battery with overcharge hold? These Roaches and Ravagers are still pushing through. There are still some Lings up here in the front, just sort of dealing that damage, tanking for the Roaches and Ravagers in the back. Now, can Parting keep himself alive? Look at that Immortal Micro again, showing off just how good he is at that.
Yeah, but no shield batteries left, and it seems like all the reinforcements are coming from the red side. It's gonna looks to be overwhelming Parting, and this dirt base for sure is going down. And now this isn't the worst thing. I mean, he's still ahead in drones. I mean, sorry, ahead in probes. So losing this dirt base, it may be not the worst thing, but I think right now all he needs to worry about is surviving at the time being. This is still a lot of Ravagers here, but this is a pretty decent wall actually.
Yeah, now we do see that Cyber being focused down by those Biles. A lot more Lings coming back out here, and like you said, Parting just needs to survive. That Cyber does go down, but of course he does have that Robobait coming up, so he does have the potential for Disruptors and Colossi and whatnot. He does restart that Cyber, and Solar thinks that it is time to go home. He did find the time to squeeze out an extra round of drones, and now he is ahead on economy as Zerg is supposed to be. And Parting a little bit lacking here in the economy. Of course, with that 3rd base going down, it is a little bit sort of dicey, his position right now. But of course, we've seen, Parting manage a lot more with a lot less, right? So like you said, he did his job in the moment. He survived, keeping those Immortals alive and keeping himself alive in the process. And now it's just up to his Micro in the later stages of the game to try to close this one out. But it will not be easy. Solar definitely going for the right move with the counterattack, I would say. He saw that he was down on drones, and he identified that his only way to really put himself back in the macro game, in the running, was to go for that counterattack and see what kind of damage he could do on the other side of the map. So very well played by Solar.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's put himself in a great position to close out this game and get the first points on the scoreboard. But the thing with disruptors is, if they can get some nice decent shots, then the whole dynamic of the game changes. So let's see if Parting can get some nice connections with those disruptors, or if Solar can kind of dodge them or even snipe the disruptor down before they can get their orange balls off.
Yeah, definitely. Disruptors can be quite the tool for Protoss, right? Just like any other splash. Now we do see Solar working on the rocks in the middle of the map, but like you said, those Ravagers, those Roaches, you just get one good shot off, and all of a sudden it seems like the entire game changes.
Yeah, now the one thing I do like coming from Solar is that he is spreading that creep really well. Considering there's not a lot of harassment coming out of Parting for the time being, Solar kind of took much advantage of that and made sure he started spreading those creep so that by the time Parting is ready to move out, he can get the nice vision on it, as well as probably have a better surround. And here we go. Looks like Parting is ready to attack.
Alright. Now these Roaches and Ravagers and Lings cannot push up this ramp, right? That is quite a decent choke that Parting has found himself. Now he does move forward with the Disruptors, excuse me. He does get a decent hit off, detonating some Banelings. Oh, a pretty decent hit off as well on the second Disruptor, shaving off one Ravager and a couple of Roaches as well. Now can this third... Nope, this third Disruptor is not going to find the damage. Now 15 probes are going down across the map with a very nice Baneling run by. So all of a sudden, Parting is a much more precarious position now than he was just a minute ago. These Roaches are going to back up as these Stalkers do try to move forward. Now, nice potential surround from the Zerg, but both are just sort of feeling out the waters for now. Now these Banelings are going to get some nice, decent connections, but again, these are Stalkers and Immortals that they are trying to detonate on. A Ling run by is going by to finish off the third Nexus. Oh! How is this going to turn out?
Ooh, well, there's only one Disruptor left, and that Disruptor unfortunately gets caught here onto the top side. So this means that Parting, all he has is 2 Immortals and a bunch of Blink Stalkers. That is not the army that you want right now. And with no economy to fall back on, this is do or die for Parting.
Yeah, and that's so funny. There were so many Banelings that actually they took down the rocks during that fight. Now it's just Blink Stalkers for now, but like you said, that is not enough. That is not the army that you need to sort of punch through as the Protoss. Stalkers are great, especially with Blink, but against Roaches, Ravagers, and Lings, I mean, it's not going to be enough. Now, we do see Parting trying his best to, sort of micro and see what he can do with the remainder of his units, and he is shaving off quite a few Lings, but, it's not enough. I don't think that he can pull through at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Parting, he can do, do magic with Blink Stalkers, but at this situation, I think he needs more than just magic. I mean, he needs a magic and a lifeline. He's gonna blink his heart out, but look at all that Roach and Ravagers, those Lings coming in as well, tanking up in the front line, getting the surround now on those Stalkers, and GG, Parting taps out. Solar will get the first point. Alrighty, here back with game number 2. Without further ado, here at the top right, he's the red Zerg player representing team of Kaizi Gaming. It is Solar.
And his opponent spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing as the blue Protoss. Can he pull it back in this best of 3? It is Parting.
Now, I am really interested to see if there's going to be a Forge coming out, but nope. Now, I've seen, Zest actually go for Forge on this map, and kind of do the 3 pylon block at the ramp area, but it looks like Parting is not going to go for that. I mean, although Parting is one of the few Protoss players that actually pulls out cannon rushes on these high-stake games, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did it maybe in the next game, but I think for now he is going to go for a normal opening.
Yeah, his probe was just in time to block the hatch again, just like in game number 1, so a little bit inconvenient for the Zerg yet again. But of course we did see how that turned out in game number 1.
Now, you know, Parting pulled off the 5-gate Glaive Adepts. Now, normally you will see 4-gate. That's the standard. But if you want to push it further, I mean, of course, you place down the 5th and sometimes even 6th gateway. But when you do that, you are a bit more committed, which means your tech is going to be a little bit behind. Your economy is going to be a little bit behind. And we saw that last game where Parting did get the 3rd base, but he didn't have enough units to hold on and defend that 3rd. And that huge swarm just overtook him, and he was basically playing on the back foot from then on.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, you know, he did have the right mindset going for Disruptors there, right? Disruptors, in a way, you could think of them as a Hail Mary, sort of, right? Colossi, they deal consistent damage. High Templar, they typically deal consistent damage. Disruptors, though, they have huge potential. They can really swing the game in favor of one or the other. Unfortunately, it did not work out for Parting in the last game, but really in that position, I think that's the right call to make. Now, going back to the 5 gates, as you mentioned, Snoopy, like, is that... I'm not even sure what Parting did wrong, per se. I just think that Solar's defense was excellent, handled very well with the queens in front, and then also just many speedlings holding on for that one gas geyser to pump out enough gas for some roaches to come out. So I'm not too sure what Parting did wrong with the 5 gate, but I just think that Solar put on a very consistent defense.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a pretty good decision, a pretty good build to go on that map. And, you know, give credit where credit is due. Solar did cut off some drones production to make sure he had enough units to defend that. I mean, he did cut off gas, but roaches in general don't really need a lot of gas. So you just need to, you know, drone up, and then, you know, once it gets closer to maybe the 4 or 5 minute mark, or yeah, around that time, you can pull the drones back on the gas. And also, I think Parting screwed it up a little bit by staying too long at that the downward base, which would, I guess, would be his second base, his natural, because all the queens and the lings were there, and those depths were actually fighting against lings and queens and wasn't really focusing on those drones. So I think I would have loved to see him, like kind of go to the natural and to the main base where all the lings and the queens weren't at, and just kind of dance around. But by the time he tried to do that, Solar pumped enough units onto the field to defend. So a little bit of blunder there by Parting, but also a good defense there by Solar.
Yeah, that is a good point that you make, right? Because all you really need as the Zerg... Oh, shoot. Little Stasis Ward does catch out one drone in the main base of Solar, but anyways, really, it only takes one additional sort of round of units, and then Zerg usually is able to hold on, like you mentioned, Snoopy. Now, we did see some very cute micro with, you know, literally just a pair of adepts later on, and that did get quite a few drone kills, so that was pretty nice. But in the end, it wasn't enough to make up. So we do see that Parting is going for something that we would consider more common in the meta nowadays. So he went for a Stargate opening and is just pumping out a lot of Void Rays. Now, double Stargate, would you consider that pretty common as well, Snoopy?
Yeah, this has been kind of added into the meta once Void Rays got the buff there a few patches ago. We have seen Protoss go for 2 Stargate Void Ray follow-up, and it kind of forces upon the Zerg to make a decision on how to react to it. But the thing is, with this Void Ray build, he's actually transitioning into gateway tech a little bit quicker, because the idea is that the Zerg will maybe go for Hydralisk, and if the Zerg does go for Hydralisk, you're gonna need some units on the ground to defend that. And so We do see a lot of gateways being plotted down as we speak.
Yeah, at the same time, we see roaches on the production tab as well as a spire. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I would imagine this is maybe for... Let's see here. Maybe... I mean, maybe meterless, but I mean, there's already Stargates out on the field, so I'm not sure if... I mean, it could be Corruptors, but Void Rays do counter Corruptors, so I'm not quite sure what this Spire is going to be for.
No, don't worry. I think that Solar has been watching my excellent, top tier team games where I go for nothing but Corruptors and I try to overwhelm the Protoss's Void Rays regardless. Now, it's a 50-50 whether or not that works, but we will see. Yeah. No, I'm totally kidding. I do agree with you, Snoopy. I feel like mutas could be a potential tech that Solar wants to go into. Now, of course, with the double Stargate, all the Protoss really has to do to defend is just start pumping out those Phoenixes, and that is another hard counter, right? So Void Rays, counter Corruptors, and then those mutas, 12 of which are on the way, are countered by Phoenixes. Now we do see Parting going into that Disruptor tech again, putting down a High Templar Archive as well.
Yeah, now the important thing is that Solar has hidden this mutalist play. So the thing is, even though Parting has the Stargates, if he doesn't know that the mutalists are coming, then it's going to catch him by way surprise. And by the time he try to produce Phoenixes, it's going to be too late for him to mass enough Phoenixes. And so this could actually hit really hard here for Parting. And we do see the mutalists coming onto the left side while these roaches onto the right side. But this Disruptor's hit gets a huge clump of roaches. Wow, that was beautiful.
That is 12 kills just with one hit. Wow. Yeah, now these mutas are coming into the natural where there are only stalkers. They are actually going to pounce on top of these Void Rays. Oh, going to get a couple of kills. No, going to try to go for a third one. Nope, not exactly. Cute kill on the, on the Observer as well. But now these, the first round of Phoenixes are out. They are going to start to, catch these Overlords that are stuck in the middle of the map. That is unfortunate for the Zerg.
Well, it looks like Solar is not slowing down. He is going to make more mutalisks. I'm not quite sure about this, but you know what? He does catch Parting sleeping here. Does pick off a few Phoenixes.
Yeah, and, that is always nice, but the thing is, Phoenixes are not only faster than mutas, but they also outrange mutas. And if you are outranged and outpaced, you have the potential of losing all of your units while the enemy never has to lose any of theirs. And that is never a good trade. So you always do have to try to catch those Phoenixes off guard. Now these mutas are going to pounce on top of the main army, pick off a charge lot, I think, or two, but not really finding anything else aside from that. Now these mutas are going to sort of, keep Parting at bay, keep Parting at home, stuck defending, so that does give Solar the potential to set up his 5th base, greedily take those gases, so 10 gas geysers in total. And it looks like he is not stopping on the air. Now these mutas again coming back in, not really taking a good trade, but that is not really the point that Solar is trying to make here. He's not really trying to make efficient trades, he's just trying to completely out macro and keep Parting at home.
Yeah, I mean, considering how this mutalist play was huge, caught off Parting by surprise, I would say he has defended fairly well. I mean, he does lose 6 probe there, unfortunately, but still not the worker count is still healthy for Parting. But this Ling Roach here onto the right side is pretty undefended. Only one Archon to defend a few Warpins, and that cannon will help stabilize that base. But so far, these mutalists hasn't really done as much as I would love for them to do so. I'm sure Solar is probably wanted a bit more probes kills by now, considering the amount of mutalist investment. And then right now, the Phoenix count is increasing slowly but surely. But when the time comes where Parting has enough has enough Phoenixes to defend the mutalists, it is going to be a really hard army to stop once parting go for that counterattack. But hold that thought. There is a roach, I guess, run by here. Won't do too much, but that does free up here onto the left side. But oh, nice. Does park the Void Ray and Stalker there.
Yeah, so in theory, this is great from the Zerg, right? We see these Lings and these Roaches going for not counterattacks, but just sort of attacks on other bases, and then the Mutas, flanked by the Corruptors, sort of assist and, dive on top of other bases. But in the end, Parting is out here with Archons, Void Rays, Stalkers, a lot of these, nice army units, and a Disruptor or two. A lot of these nice units that just can't be fought directly by Mutas and Corruptors. So we do see a lot of probes going down from Parting as the Mutas finally find the damage that they were looking for, but at the same time, the main army of the Protoss is on the Zerg side of the map. We do see the Stalkers going to town, killing off more than 20 drones. So this is a bit of a base race scenario that we're in.
Yeah, I mean, Solar recognizing the fact that he cannot win a straight up battle one-on-one. So he is going to go for the base trade, which is the smarter move. I mean, against a bunch of Stalkers, Void Rays, and Archons, like, these Mutalisks won't be able to do too much. And a nice recall from Parting will go and try to save this base. These Mutalisks, I don't think there is enough Mutalisks to take out all these Stalkers, especially with these Blink Micro. There are some Blinks trying to come in, but the Phoenixes should seal the deal. And I think Parting is going to go ahead into game 1-2 with a tied score. And GG, Parting wins. Alright, we have game number 3 here. This is going to determine who will be the winner of the series. Here at the bottom left, playing for Kaizi Gaming. He is our red Zerg player. Give it up for Solar.
And his opponent able to tie up this best of 3 series, playing as the blue Protoss. It is Parting.
So speaking of Parting, I mean, I'm sure much of you guys do already know the long history, the accomplishments that Parting has achieved throughout his career. But I have to wonder how much better Parting would be right now if he was on a team. Because it's been a while since he's been on a team, if I do recall.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on a team, of course, you do have access to very, very consistent practice partners. That is a good point that you bring up, Snoopy. I feel like it might not necessarily be his style, of course, but yeah, I mean, Parting on a team, that is a scary thought for me as a Zerg main. That is definitely not something that I would like to see, but I'm sure for the sake of Protosses all across the world, that would be pretty nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, Parting, he's a character. He's not the easiest person to maybe manage as a team manager. So you probably got to consider that. That may be the reason why some teams hasn't offered him. Because, team reputation does matter. And with a player or a person like Parting on your team, you do have to maybe set some guidelines, and it'll be up to, of course, Parting to follow those guidelines. But who knows? Maybe in the future he can find himself a team.
Yeah, I think this is the same Parting that would drink until 2 a.m. Korean time before, a big GSL match or what have you, and, still do fine, of course, because he's Parting, but not necessarily the showings that he's had in the past, which, nobody blames him. It's very, very competitive and very difficult just to even be in GSL as many times as he has been. So yeah, I'm totally with you. Like if you do try to put him on a team, you're definitely gonna have to say, hey, here are the do's and don'ts of being on our team, and let's do our best to follow that as we progress. But of course, doing just fine so far without a team. But that is an interesting question that you pose, whether or not he would be doing better if he were on a team. So So we will see. Only time will tell.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Anyhow, we are here, Blackburn. Now, let's see here. What is each player going for? Looks like robotics bay here for parting, which
Super quick, yeah.
yeah, and this is hidden, which kind of tells me that he might be going for either disruptor drop or something. I feel like, yeah, he got the war prism, the robotics bay should be finishing up in time. Yeah, I think this is going to be a disruptor drop.
I like it. I like it a lot. How often do you see disruptor drops? This is pretty interesting.
Alrighty, so far no scouting from Solar, or hasn't really seen this out, as there are no overlords here onto the main base, and the one overlord that's closest does get taken out without scouting too much.
Yeah, a bit of a supply block, which is a little bit unfortunate, but no big deal. Parting will be able to, chrono out Warp Prism speed as well. Very interesting build. I like to see it. I've never seen this before, actually. I'm sure that, this is something that has been played in the past, but yeah, very interesting. Oh, now we do see these 4 first adepts shading into the main. A little bit stuck, a little bit out of position, as there are way too many lings to, consistently deal with it. Now, oh, very funny, a little bit of War Prism Micro trying to see if they could snipe that queen, getting it down to about 2/3 health, but not really going to be able to find that sort of damage. Now, the War Prism is going to go back home. Does Solar suspect anything? He does try to scout with the lings, but of course, that front wall at the natural is plugged, and there is no vision of the Warp Prism, or excuse me, of the Robo Bay or the Robo Facility, so it's not going to see that the Warp Prism came back to pick up a couple of disruptors. Now, does Solar suspect anything? Because, of course, he does have vision of the Warp Prism itself, and maybe he has spotted that it does have speed, and that could be a big, big indicator. I'm not too sure, though, as he does start up roaches, and he also has a spine on the way, so he's... Oh! First disruptors come out, gonna find 2 drone kills, and actually losing one of the disruptors. Not very good for an initial harass.
Yeah, man, losing that one disruptor, instead of shooting one, instead of shooting 2, you're only going to be able to shoot 1, and usually 2 does kill out a queen. 1 seriously injures a queen, but with 2, you can outright kill it. So he would have probably loved to save that second disruptor and take it back, replay it over and over again, but unfortunately he can't, and he is going to go ahead and try to put on some pressure here. A spine crawler actually here for Solar, which is going to be pretty helpful, especially with the queen that transfuse, but I don't quite seeing this doing too much damage. Maybe the Colossus get some nice hits, but look at this spread.
Yeah, this is definitely not a position as the Protoss that you want to push down. Now Parting is going to go for it, and like you said, that Colossus is there to sort of deal very consistent damage, right? Just being able to zap away at those lings, roaches, and ravagers, but that is, like you said, a very, very nice surround that our red Zerg is setting up, and these stalkers, stalkers are great, but they don't really have that sort of punch. Now this disruptor is going to move forward and see if it can get a nice hit off. Oh, and will it? Oh, it gets picked off before it can fire. Now the sentries are gonna have some very nice force fields, but of course we do have those ravagers which can bile them down. And so far, like you said yourself, Snoopy, Parting is not able to find the damage that he needs. It's already 7 minutes and about 40 seconds, and he has not been able to put down a 3rd base. So that was definitely an all-in position from Parting, and he was not able to find the damage that he needs.
Yeah, I mean, Solar has been playing this absolutely perfectly, making sure he has not suffered too much damage against the disruptors, and now setting up a nice little surround there once that attack was incoming. And with that hold, Solar can pretty much drone up as much as he wants. You can see so much drones on the production tab, and this 3rd base up Parting is so late.
Yeah, and it is also vulnerable as we do see the Roaches and Ravagers coming up to the north side of the map and, of course, the Lings to the south side. Now, it doesn't look like Solar is going to move forward. This Disruptor cheaply takes out a big chunk of those Lings. I do like that move, you know, take whatever you can get. But it looks like you said, you know, Solar doesn't really need to put on pressure. He knows that he's ahead, and he does have a Spire almost done, actually. So he has the advantage, and it is sort of in a funny way, even though he just defended, it is as his job as the Zerg, as the one who is ahead as well. It's sort of his job to defend. Now this Disruptor does get another hit off on the main army of Solar. Solar actually greedily going for the 4th base at the gold location as well.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? I mean, there's really not a lot that Parting can do. I mean, even if he try to goes on the back door, Solar does have enough units here to get these around. And looks like Parting, though, he is going to be knocking at the front door. Again, only one Colossus here, so not the scariest of forces.
We do see a small Ling counterattack as well, trying to see whatever damage it can do, but Parting did warp in some Zealots to take care of that. Now, this main army at the front, oh, that Disruptor, ooh, getting really close. But like you said, you know, just one Colossus, it's not necessarily enough to deal with all of this. And really, you do need consistent damage. You need, well, you would not need, maybe, but you would probably want more consistent damage than just Lings. But Mutas, again, coming into the main, taking out that shield battery. So Parting caught a little bit off guard again in this final game of this best of 3. Now, we do see a couple of cannons very nicely placed such that they can defend against the Mutas. But this main army is moving forward. We do see a nice spread of force fields going down, but they are biled down. Now, a very nice second set of force fields, making sure that most of those Banelings do not connect, but Solar pushing ahead, moving on top of that Colossus. Oh, and Parting not able to pick it up in time, and now it's just Blink Stalkers, and at his 3rd base, the Mutas have taken care of most of those probes. So Parting definitely not looking favored here in game number 3 all of a sudden. Very, very well defended by Solar and well played on the other side of the map with the Mutas, which are, by the way, still doing damage.
Yeah. They're so annoying to deal with. And boy, 15 probes in total going down to this Mutalist. And now Parting has dropped down all the way to 38 workers versus the 66 of Solar. But remember, even though 66 isn't a high number for a Zerg at this stage, he is mining off the gold base. So that kind of evens it out. And or at least would kind of be more even if you had more drones. But anyhow, looks like Solar is going to go ahead and go for what potentially be the final battle here. One last Disruptor hit, but it's not quite enough, it feels like, as this 3rd base is get absolutely demolished.
Yeah, definitely. Now, funnily enough, we do see these Blink Stalkers moving all the way across up to the north side of the map, and they are actually going to get outflanked possibly by Zerglings, so we do see that recall being forced, but of course the 3rd Nexus is down. And just look at the supply counts, you know, at this point, with such a wide disparity, the supply does not lie. Right now we do see things like Lings and Roaches on the field, which, you know, might not necessarily be the best indicator when it comes to supply, but seriously, when you've got a Protoss that is, a very nice detonation on a bunch of Banelings from one of the Disruptors, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough now. Another nice connection, we do see a bunch of Ravagers going down, but seriously, like, the Zerg is, for all intents and purposes, practically maxed out against a Protoss that is under 100 supply on 2 bases, so this is not a good position for Protoss to be in. Now, okay, if he does get more consistent Disruptor hits like that, he does have a chance. But honestly, I think this game is all but over. Solar going up to that Hive Tech, you know, pumping out. Oh, and GG is called. Solar takes this best of 3.